Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Riverview Wellness Podcast. I'm your co-host, Reed, fitness enthusiast, personal trainer, joined by
Sierra Meacham, your host, fellow fitness enthusiast.
and this is
trainer.
part 3 of a 3-part series. So this is the final part. If you haven't heard the first 2, feel free to go and check those out. We kind of talk about misconceptions people have about fitness and the benefits that you can get, as well as a little bit more of the practical steps in terms of programming. Today, we're gonna, I think, keep it simple in terms of content, right? And functionally, the message I want you guys to take away from this is don't overcomplicate things. Keep that in your head. That's what we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna try and stay on topic and discuss that. Sierra, do you have anything? What do people overcomplicate? What do we mean when we say don't overcomplicate stuff when we're talking to people looking to get into training or start training for the first time in earnest?
I don't know. They walk into a gym and they think, what exactly is the right thing to do? I think people have this idea in their brain of exactly what it's supposed to look like. And then they start comparing themselves to others and you're right. Don't overcomplicate it. Like, the principles are few and the methods are many. You go back to the last episode to figure out some of those few principles, and then how you apply them. It can be so many different ways. People get caught up with exactly how many reps do I need to do? Do I need to do machines or free weights or bands or is my hand supposed to be this way or this way? Like, people get really bogged down on like perfect form, which it is true. Like, you can have bad form. There are certain things we want to make sure we're doing. But at a certain point, once you learn the fundamentals, I mean, there's a reason we push to graduate our clients here, because like we teach them the basic skills, their body gets used to how to move that way. And then your body just kind of moves the way it's supposed to. And you might have your feet turn a little inward sometimes, a little outward sometimes. It might be like...
and that's not necessarily
and
wrong.
It's fine.
And I'm super sympathetic to this kind of like initial like... This sort of system shock, especially if your step one is going to a gym immediately, right? For some people, it's the P90X video in their
at home.
But some people go, I'm going to start working out and I'm going to go to the gym, and more power to you. But I get it. Like, you can show up, you can see, hundreds of people walking around different directions, holding different weights, different shaped weights, doing different movements, and you just go, oh, like I didn't realize this was what it was going to look like. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now that I'm here. And I would just say, as a word of advice, in addition to our general don't overcomplicate things, what we can look at practically in that situation is like, start doing something, do it slow, and really think about like what you're feeling as you're doing it, right? Your body's pretty good for the most part about being resilient and telling you what's wrong as you're doing it, right? So if your instinct leads you to the bench press day one, right? Or the dumbbell bench press, right? And you're lying down and you're like, oh, my shoulders feel a little bit weird when I'm using this really light weight. So I want to bring them, pull them back a little bit more and get my chest up.
Or bring them in a little bit.
Or bring my elbows in a little bit more, right? Yeah. And you're doing it at a light weight and you're doing it in a controlled speed. You can start, basically every
there's a
exercise
lot of ways
this way.
That you can do a dumbbell bench press.
Yes, and a lot of them are right ways to do a dumbbell bench press too, right? And you'll find that the shot goes away the more you're doing it. So like being in the area is like you kind of become desensitized to the people moving around you, all the space being filled up by equipments and machines and whatnot.
And your body shock, because it's a lot on your body the first time you ever lift weights. It's going to feel hard. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird.
You're going to feel it after.
But that does get better. Like you start to get used to it. It's still going to be challenging, but it's not like
if
this
you're pushing yourself, right?
Out of world. Like I remember some of my first workouts like I ever did, and they were so brutal because I just thought this was the way that it is.
First time I ever did leg day, I threw up.
Yeah, like I remember these grueling workouts that I would do in my garage with these little booty bands, and it would just like go until absolute failure, which I think that brings us into a great like point that this systematic review made was that you don't have to train to absolute failure to gain more.
Yeah, to get any
benefit.
benefits, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It recommended like 2 to 3 reps in reserve. So like 2 to 3 reps shy of like.
Do it until it's hard to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the rule of thumb if we're going to be like basically here. And I think another thing, because you brought this up at the beginning of the podcast as well, is just you see all this equipment, and you get worried. Should I be doing, oh man, do I need to use the barbell for this or the dumbbells for this or the machine for this or the bands for this, right? And if it's your first time, especially if it's your first time,
doesn't really matter that
making
much.
sure you're doing something, whether that's with the barbell, the dumbbell, the bands, the machine, right? Doing it in a controlled way, in a way that usually, especially the machines will have like a little diagram on them telling you which muscle group it's supposed to hit. If it feels right, and it doesn't feel, not if it feels right necessarily, but if it's not detrimental to you, if it's not hurting to do something, and it really shouldn't, because you're taking your time and controlling yourself, right?
You're not going too heavy too quick.
That is the perfect place to start.
Yeah.
Honestly. I was like you. I was super overzealous when I first started working out. I think probably the first time I went to the gym, I did a leg day. And I remember I was at my school, and I remember being in the gym worried I was going to throw up everywhere. And I was just praying. I was like, God, just please don't let me throw up in the gym. And then it kind of went away for a second, went home and just threw up everywhere. So I made it. But and then I was cooked for the next few days. It was actually detrimental to me to have, because of my misconception about the effort I needed to put into training, it was detrimental to me because I wasn't able to train as soon after that. I had to spend more time recovering. And now I was like, oh man, I don't like it as much as I thought I would because I felt sick. So like I said, I'm very sympathetic to these people who are getting into all this the first time, right? It doesn't have to be the thing that makes you throw up. No. It doesn't have to be the thing that, makes you take off work tomorrow or the next 3 days. I
think a lot of people think that or feel that way, because I cannot tell you how many people.
I certainly did, yeah.
Yeah, how many people I talk to who their resistance to starting an exercise plan is so high because that is their expectation. Or, I don't know. I have clients that sign up with me and they're like, all right, well, it's time to start the pain game. And I'm like, well, no, like we ease into it. Like, you're going to feel a little bit sore, but you shouldn't be absolutely wrecked after a workout unless you're like Reed and you like to feel that way.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not just Reed. Some
people, do want that. Yeah. I can't say that. At one point, I kind of did like that, but now I'm like, I'll take a little bit of soreness, but it's impractical at a certain point.
There's a too far, 100%. And I caution people to jump right into the deep end sometimes in this sense. But I think a lot of people do find that they enjoy pushing themselves once they kind of know where their limits are. I would just say the best way to find your limits is not by crossing them the first day you start working out, right?
Crossing them, and then you're sore for 7 days and can't walk up the stairs.
I promise you, if you start working out and you start doing it in a controlled way and you gradually increase the difficulty of things, you'll get a pretty good feel for where your limits are before crossing them.
Yeah. Well, and your limits will increase over time. Your body gets more used to it and you're able to do more.
You become more familiar
efficiently
with who your body is and what your physicality is capable of. Yeah.
Yeah. Jumping back to like the equipment you use doesn't really matter. I want to caveat that with like,
absolutely.
If you have particular goals or if you've been training for a longer time, that is where we start to narrow down a little bit more, like, 100%. Oh, you should probably use more of this type of equipment versus that, or you should do this many reps versus that. The biggest points we're trying to make here today is like, I keep coming back to like, if you are just a person who is trying to get healthy, put on some muscle, put on some strength, increase your function and quality of life.
Yeah, live better.
I mean, this review pointed to there are strength benefits from an at-home body weight program. There are strength benefits from using bands. There are,
especially if you haven't done any of those before. Right?
Yeah, and I would encourage people, like, if you are new to it, like, I ideally have some variety. It's not my favorite thing when somebody's like, I want to work out at home body weight forever, because what this review also points to is that it's a little bit push-pull, but progressive loading, meaning making it kind of harder over time, is important, but that doesn't mean like every week I'm going to see these big jumps in the amount of weight I can lift and the things that I can do. But just you're going to get benefits if you're continuing to slowly over time challenge yourself. And sometimes that's hard to do if you're very limited to one style of training. If you've never trained before and that's what you want to start with, that's fantastic. That is perfect.
Yeah,
but
do what you want.
We've got to ideally having some variety, but not stressing too much over what exactly is a perfect start.
Yeah, I would just say, kind of in line with what we let in with, don't overcomplicate things. Just don't get in your head about this stuff. You know, exercise things. That I don't mean to use it. Exercise. Do things carefully and intentionally, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, periodization is basically this idea of take a big step back and plan out your training program in a certain style, whether that is you're going to focus on a certain goal for 4 weeks in your program and there's going to be a deload, or you're going to do undulating periodization, or you're going to do...
And just to clarify, we're saying you don't need to do this to start. This would be an example of overcomplicating things.
Yeah.
Even though it is helpful.
Well, and earlier I was kind of saying, I remember reading like a whole book on periodization and the principles of it.
Fun time.
And well, I can understand the importance of, I mean, the whole premise of it is, how do we come up with a system to progressively make this more challenging and effective for you to achieve your goal, whatever that goal may be. And I always found myself, from just what I've learned with clients and what I felt like has worked, drifting back into this, like, kind of plan our workouts as we go weekly. I very much so like keeping certain core movements for a good hunk of time and then switching out a lot of these like smaller isolated movements, because it's more important for most people to just adhere consistently to the program. And most people don't want to do the exact same workout over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You like to do the same workout.
Freaks.
But again, you've been training for a long time and you have very specific goals. And even like me with this season that I am in pregnancy, like my workouts look so different now than they did. In that I was doing very specific movements, repeating those movements a lot, really trying to push hard for strength and seeing gains. And now, like, I'm not even really paying attention to if I lifted more weight this week than last week. I'm pushing myself to a difficult level, and some days I finish my workout, some days I don't, but I'm consistently training at least 3 days a week. I'm walking a lot, and I'm following the general principles of I'm lifting things, I'm doing variety. Some stuff's heavy, some stuff's lighter. I'm getting my heart rate up a little bit. And I feel good and I'm enjoying it. So it's just like, we'll
film another podcast a lot closer to pregnancy. Okay. Let's see what she's feeling.
A lot closer to labor.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
I'm about to pop. Yeah, I'm about halfway. We're on week 20 almost. So
but it's not that hard, guys. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just get in there.
Yeah. All right. I think that about wraps up our 3-part series on why you should be resistance training. Any closing thoughts?
No, I think anything I would have to say now has been addressed in the other 2 videos. So you should actually go check them out.
Yep, if you didn't.
Yeah.
All right. If this was helpful, please, please, please go leave us a 5-star review. If you have more questions about anything we addressed here, you can find us on social media, all the social platforms, Riverview Wellness, Instagram, Facebook. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Riverview Wellness Podcast, empowering individuals to live and move well. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Toodles.